recording, didn't I? Wow. Okay. So that would be 9 minus 5 or 4. So my answer is 4. Please make sure you're asking questions as we're going along, okay? So part B says we're going to find, we're going to do the opposite. So I'm going to do G of F of 1. So this time, instead of putting it into G first, I'm going to put it into F first. Not going to get the same answer. So I want to find F of 1. So in F, which is, in case no one knows where F of X, it's right here. I'm going to plug it into there and say 3 times 1 minus 5 is 3 minus 5, or negative 2. Okay? Then I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to plug that answer into G. So G of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 plus 2, or 0. So this equals 0. No questions? Are we okay so far? Okay. Let's see. C. Now C, we're going to go from using numbers into using variables. So I want to find F of G of X. So G of X, we already know what G of X is. G of X is right here, as I erase instead of highlight, is right here. So G of X equals X plus 2. So in F, I'm going to now I want to find F of X plus 2. So in F, wherever there's an X, I'm just going to put X plus 2. So I've got 3 times X plus 2 minus 5. So that gives me 3X plus 6 minus 5, or 3X plus 1. Yeah, okay. Questions? Okay. And then part D, we're going to find the opposite. So that's, I guess I could have written this up here. 3X plus 1. Okay, so we're going to find, what are we going to find? G of F of X. So F of X is 3X minus 5. So then for the second part, I want to find G of 3X minus 5. So that equals 3X minus 5 plus 2. So 3X minus 3. Done. Okay. Looks like no one has any questions so far, so we're going to go on to the second set of equations. They're a little harder this time because instead of both being linear, we have linear and quadratic. So we're still doing all the same set of problems, A through D, so just with different equations this time. So A says, what does A say? A is F of G of 1. Okay. F of G of 1. So I want to find G of 1 first. So it's negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2. And then I want to find F of negative 2, which gives me, let's see, F, negative 2 squared plus 3. So that's 4 plus 3, or 7. So this equals 7. Equals. And then B is G of F of 1. So we're going to find F of 1 first. So that's going to be 1 squared plus 3, which is 1 plus 3, or 4. And then we plug that into g, so g of 4 is going to be negative 2 times 4, which is negative 8. So this equals negative 8. Everyone okay so far? All right. And then for the little bit harder ones, especially when we have a quadratic, we've got A, B, C. F of g of x. So g of x equals, what does g of x equal? Negative 2x. And then I want to find f of negative 2x, which is going to be negative 2x squared plus 3. So that gives me 4x squared plus 3. And then part D is going to be g of f of x. So f of x is going to be equal to x squared plus 3. And then I want to find g of x squared plus 3, which is negative 2 times x squared plus 3, or negative 2x squared minus 6. 2x squared. Okay. Any questions so far? Are we okay? Are you guys okay with that? Because we're going to see in a minute, because it's going to be your turn. Okay. So here we go to the set. Do I need to pause for a minute so you guys can write down, or am I going too fast? Everyone's okay? Okay, great. All right, so your turn. We're going to have you do A. We'll do A first, and then we'll go. So A says I need to find f of g of 1. So g of 1 is going to be 1 plus 3, or 4. And then I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to put it inside of f. So that is going to be 4 squared minus 5, which is 16 minus 5, or 11. So f of g of 1 equals 11. And B is going to be, let's see, g of f of 1. So f of 1 is going to be 1 squared minus 5. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Then I'm going to find g of negative 4, which is negative 4 plus 3, or negative 1. So f of g of 1 equals negative 1. Okay, now we're going to go to C, which is the one really that we need to kind of talk about, because I think most people missed it the first time, and then when I asked them to redo it, they got it right the second time. But we're going to talk about it here. So this is f of g of x. So g of x is x plus 3, right? So f of x plus 3 is going to be, let's see, what is it? X plus 3 squared minus 5. Now remember, what does it mean to be squared? Well, to square something means to multiply by itself, right? So that means this is actually going to be x plus 3 times x plus 3 minus 5. And then you FOIL or distribute twice, or whatever the language is that your teacher taught you when you were learning how to multiply out binomials, right? So I get x times x is x squared, and x times 3 is 3x. and 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9, and then minus 5. And if I combine all my like terms together, I'm going to get x squared plus 6x plus 4. So this is x squared plus 6x plus 4. Okay? Questions on that one? It's just remembering what it is to be squared when you have a binomial, and it's not just saying, I think this is what a lot of people did. They said x plus 3 squared equals x squared plus 9, right? But that does not equal x squared plus 9, okay? I have to actually multiply. I'm not distributing the squared through. That's not what it means to be squared. It means to multiply it by itself, okay? So kind of think about that one. And so D says, what does D say? G of f of x. So I've got, let's see, f of x is going to be x squared minus 5. I'm going to run out of room. And g of x squared minus 5 is going to equal x squared minus 5 plus 3, or x squared minus 2. I don't know if I can write that up here. Minus 2. Barely. I can barely get it up there. Okay, x squared minus 2. All right, good job. One last problem. Okay, you're going to do the same thing again. I'll try and get both the problems up here. And so let's see, what's the first one? The first one is f of g of 1. Okay, so f of g of 1. So g of 1 is going to be 12 minus 3 times 1, or 12 minus 3, which is 9. Okay? Right? And then I take that and I plug it into f. So I find f of 9, which is the square root of 5 times 9. So now most of you have put in the square root of 49, but I can simplify this square root because the square root of 9 is 3, and then I don't know what the square root of 5 is, so it would be 3 square root of 5. I don't know if you guys remember. I know it's been a while since we've done square roots, but it's 3 square root of 5. I can accept the square root of 45. I'm okay with that. Because it did not say to simplify the square root, so you're okay with that. B says g of f of 1. And then, so I'm going to find f of 1 first, which is going to be the square root of 5 times 1, or the square root of 5. And then I got to find g of the square root of 5. So that's going to be 12 minus 3 square root of 5. So now on this one, that's it. That's the whole answer, because I cannot subtract 12 and this 3 minus the square root of 5, because, I mean, unless we're going to unless we're going to find out an approximate answer for the square root of 5, and then multiply it by 3 and then subtract from 12, I can do it that way, but really square roots kind of act like a variable. I don't know if you guys remember this from last year. So if the 12 didn't have the square root of 5, I can't subtract them. They're kind of like, I kind of think of it as like terms. So if the 12 didn't have a square root of, since the 12 does not have a square root of 5, I cannot subtract 3 square root of 5 from it. So this is just my answer, 12 minus 3 square root of 5. Unless they want an approximate answer, and then I just put it in my calculator and see what I get. Okay? That's okay, good. I thought so, Kim, because I was like looking at your answers going, I'm not sure what you got. So I'm good. Okay, good. Thanks. A, B, C is f of, oops, sorry about that. F of g of x this time, right? So g of x is, Make this bigger, it's easier to write. G of x is 12 minus 3x. And then I'm going to put that inside of f, so 12 minus 3x is going to be the square root of 5 times 12 minus 3x, which is going to simplify to the square root of 60 minus 15x. And that's it. I can't simplify it anymore. Done. Okay. And then the last one, C and D, is G of f of x. So f of x is the square root of 5x. And then I'm going to put that inside of G. And I'm going to get 12 minus 3 times the square root of 5x. And kind of like on B, I can't combine those together. So it's just 12 minus 3 square root of 5x. And that's all. Okay, so I'm going to pause this